On another exciting episode of the Animation Deliberation podcast, we take a visit back to Aincrad as we cover Sword Art Online movie Scherzo of the Deep Night. Right after these ads, we have no control over. Sing along if you know the words. A 1, 2, 3, it's time for animation, deliberation, conversation, and a celebration of a favorite action animated series. Yeah. Yeah, welcome back to another episode of Animation Deliberation, the podcast where we take action animation and cartoons seriously, but not too seriously. I'm your host, Suhaira Lee. I'm running solo today. I just finished watching Sword Art Online, Scherzo of Deep Night. Um, I was surprised this movie was coming out. I'm very excited that animes are deciding to put more movies in theaters. I did not realize that there actually was another one before this, so I guess I'm just going to have to watch that at some point this weekend. But I absolutely love Sword Art Online. I was blown away the first time I watched the series. I remember it was in college. I can't remember who referred it to me. It was halfway through the first season when I started. I think it was one of those ones like I started in dub and I was like, I need more, and then continued with Japanese, and it still wasn't caught up. So I had to wait every week like a crazy person. I'm crazy because I wait those weeks. But I absolutely love the show, and my biggest stripe against it is that it was just too short. Like the fact that the first season ended where it did when they could have done so much more just drove me nuts. So I like that we're having this opportunity to revisit this first story in Aincrad and kind of like expand between what it was like being on certain floors and seeing the development. We got to see a lot of Kirito, like why he doesn't work with people, how just people shit on him for being a beater and stuff like that. And that gets revisited in this too. Like you see him starting to work well with people and get a lot of stuff accomplished and stuff like that, but still towards the end of it it's like, oh, he wanted this banner flag for himself. Sorry, spoilers. Yeah, officially into spoiler territory in case you guys couldn't tell that. He defeats the boss for, I think it was level 5 they were on. I don't have any notes in front of me, so I'm literally just gibbering about this because I just wanted to talk about this movie. So because they beat the boss, surprise surprise, they succeeded. Like the other guilds were still giving him grief because it was like, oh, you're just keeping it for yourself just to make it difficult and blah blah blah. But it's like, no, I'm actually trying to come up with a solution to bring you guys together. Like, this is why I work alone. You guys constantly give me reasons to want to work alone. And I think we're like 2 months into them being stuck in this game. And a reminder that if you die in the game, you die in real life. And if your body gives out in real life, it dies in the game. Because I think this whole catastrophe ends up going along the span of 1 year, if not two, which is crazy to think about. Like your body being in this coma and this vegetative state, like so many people being in hospitals and their bodies not being able to hold up. It's insane to think about. But we love video games so much. Like even in the anime, like people are just kind of like, man, that was pretty traumatic, wasn't it? Do you want to play the next game? Do you want to play this Alfheim game because it looks pretty cool? Um, so it's just insane. This show has so many good things in regards to, this is an animation style that I love. The sound design is incredible, especially when they like hit their techniques and stuff like that. The music is insane. I love it so much. Like you're always rooting for these characters. You always want the best stories for them. But then like the stories just go by so quick. I get that they were short novels, but they just did such an incredible job with this that it's like, give us more. And on top of that, one of the biggest things that I have against anime studios is like SAO is a big part of that. And the big thing is the lack of communication. Like, you had this fantastic season with the fantastic cliffhanger, and then it's like, when do we get a season 2? When do we get our season 5? When do we get this and that? Are you guys even continuing? Like, it was strictly off of speculation, and then surprise, 5 years later, there's a new season out. And it's like, why are you doing this to us? Like, just tell us what you're thinking. Are you waiting for the anime? Are you waiting for animation? You're not getting enough budget? Like, GoFundMe is a thing. I will happily start one for the show. Just try to keep more of the incest stuff out of it because that's just the one weird thing. Just stop with all that. Um, The first two seasons, fantastic. Gun Gale, I didn't really care for, but it was like more SAO content, so I wasn't against it either. The whole cancer story after that was fantastic. Alicization was mind blowing. It's everything we love about this first season, but it's like actually affecting the real world, and there's a bigger picture, and all that was incredible. Cliffhanger for that at the end of Alicization. It seems like the next story is going to be like out in space and more futuristic. Not a huge fan of that, but again, great storytelling, so I'll watch it anyways, and sure I'll enjoy it. But when it comes to medieval stuff and monsters and swords, like I will eat that up all day. So it's like, give me more of that. We had a really good story over here. It was one of those things where if you're a fan of the show, you will genuinely enjoy it. I wouldn't drag anybody to that. Like there's a decent amount of people in my theater when I was there. I enjoyed watching it in theaters. Genuinely do watch just being in the theater, but I enjoyed what I got. It didn't blow me away, but I would watch it again for sure. It made me want to restart SAO. Like at least that first part, just kind of like give it perspective what's happening in this timeline of 2 months being on the fifth floor. The relationship with Kirito and Asuna was fascinating because I didn't think that the feelings between them had grown this much because from my understanding in the first part, like they worked together and then they went on their own paths because she was working with guilds and stuff and he was working solo. And then they would just work on these raids and stuff. So I didn't realize that they were like this close this early on, right? Um their relationship is probably one of my favorite couples like of all time. I cried on like all of it. Like then they had like the little wedding scene and stuff. Like I was in tears. It was beautiful. I was not okay at the end of Aincrad. A part of me, timeline wise, was confused why we were pushing the relationship stuff, but because we know what happened and this is coming later, I guess I was okay with it because we got to see that connection a little more, even if it didn't make sense. Or I could just be remembering wrong. There's more reason for me to just start over again because I just absolutely love that show. So I did love every bit of it. I was so sad for Asuna when she was by herself in that dungeon because she was already like super creeped out and then lost her sword. And then I didn't realize the history behind her sword. So seeing all of that, seeing the friend that gave it to her, finding out they're best friends in person, IRL. Um, and then seeing kind of like the birth of the laughing coffin, which makes me cringe every time. Everything about their presence just made me so uncomfortable because I just know this that there's this group in this game killing people for fun, knowing that it's just killing them in real lives, and to put humans through that, like our real world is bad enough as it is. Like the fact that people are doing this in the game too, which I guess human nature is just like that. We see how much people were fighting over each other just because of their methods of taking out these big bosses. Like the fact that it's like, oh, if you get the last hit, you get a better loot, but it's like you all survived. Like you guys still have to work with each other and fight with each other. So the human nature of this is like it's accurate. It's really accurate. Like I hated the people who came up with those arguments to be like, yeah, I was like, fucking keep it. I need to work with you in the future. I don't care if you have this. Man, it was a really enjoyable movie. The bosses looked cool. I really got Obelisk vibes with that the last boss that we saw, just how his face was coming out from the ceiling. I figured this would be about a 10-minute episode. I'm about to hit that mark. I think I'm just going to be repeating myself on a lot of stuff. If you guys are fans of this movie, if you guys are fans of the series, like I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Animation Deliberation Podcast at gmail.com, Animation Delib1 on Twitter, and Animation Deliberation everywhere else on Facebook and Instagram. Please reach out. Please write. Let me know what you thought of this movie. If you liked it, if you loved it. If you just want to write in to say that you hate the series, like, sure. Like, let me know what you think. Of course, we love 5-star reviews. We love reviews. Like, we just love hearing from you guys. We love talking to you guys. And we love how much our show is growing. Thank you so much for everybody who supports us for that. We had our Bad Batch episode come out. We are still doing our coverage of My Hero Academia. We're not short of content. It's only February. There's a lot more anime movies coming out. There's a lot more other movies coming out. I saw a bunch of Pixar trailers today that I'm very excited for. Apparently, Elements have feelings now. So that's going to be fun to watch no matter what. all the DC stuff. We're excited. We're excited to talk about it. We're excited to watch it. And we love that you guys are on this journey with us. So thank you so much for all the support. Be sure to tune in next time. That's TOONIN. And as always, stay whelmed. Thank you for listening to the Animation Deliberation Podcast, a proud member of the Stranded Panda Network. If you would like to contact us, you can email animationdeliberationpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter @animationdelib1. For this and other great shows, you can visit strandedpanda.com or join the great community that is the Stranded Panda Chat Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/svchat. Tune in next time, and remember, stay whelmed.